John Levy, CEO of Seek. Marcia Gordon, President and CEO, Business Council of Westchester. And the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Wow, you all came to our home. It's so good to see everybody. Welcome, everyone, to 800 Westchester Avenue, the home of the Business Council of Westchester. We are so proud to have our office here. And special thanks to Robert Weiss and Andrew Weiss, who are the owners here. Welcome, and thank you so much. Some other folks I'd like to recognize right away. Jamie Schutzer, the chairman of the board of the Business Council of Westchester from JDM Benefits. Again, Robert and Andrew Weiss, and members of the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council who are here today. Thomas Carey, I know I saw Tom here, Ali Frederico, Jim Taylor, and Sue Gary. So welcome to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Westchester County and New York State residents suffer from a chronic and growing shortage of workforce housing. Employers, and most of you are employers, can't compete to attract and retain talent for their workforce without attractive housing opportunities available to prospective employees. This housing crisis threatens our economic future. The Business Council of Westchester commends Governor Hochul for her strong leadership and her courageous leadership in addressing this critical issue. Especially for the BCW, this is very important to us because we have been focusing on our Westchester Innovation Network initiative, which attracts global and national companies to our county, and our Talent Initiative, which successfully assists employers in finding the talent that they need. We can't do it without housing. The New York Housing Compact directly confronts this crisis, unlike any of the past plans of the governor's predecessors. The Business Council of Westchester recognizes that fundamental change can be difficult to implement, and we commend Governor Hochul for reaching out to business, to labor, to not-for-profit, and faith-based organizations in her effort to create desperately needed housing in our communities. I personally know Governor Hochul is the leader who has the resolve to finally address this proactively. I know that because I have seen her firsthand, working with her closely over the years on economic development, where the governor went around to every county in New York State in the most difficult times and was there talking to every business, to the business community, to the community at large, about jobs, about childcare, about infrastructure, and other issues. And I also know, by the way, that she knows every diner in New York State because John Ravitz and I have personally shared tea with her on some Wednesday afternoons at, I think it was the Exit 15 Diner in New Rochelle. And so all personal notes aside, I know, and we all know, that Governor Hochul is the leader with the courage and the strength to address this housing crisis and bring everyone together. The Business Council of Westchester looks forward to working with you, Governor, to assure that your bold and forward-thinking plan is implemented. It is my honor to present the Governor of New York State, our Governor, Kathy Hochul.
Thank you, Marcia. It has been a pleasure not since I've been governor, but the entire time I was lieutenant governor, to come to Westchester, yes, to sometimes hang out in diners with you and John, but also to see your leadership in action and how you're not afraid to harness the power of the business community behind issues that are so important: economic development, incentives for businesses to come here, childcare. You were speaking about childcare long before it became a topic of the day. And now to have your voice and the voice of the Westchester Business Council is extraordinary. This power behind all of you, I believe, will be enough to persuade those who may just need a little encouragement to do the right thing. Change is never easy. The status quo means just that. You stay where you are and you stagnate. But I know Westchester County and the Hudson Valley region does not want to be in that category. This is a forward-thinking, progressive community, and you want to make sure that you can meet the needs of all your residents and future residents. So, Marcia, thank you for this validation of your support for our package, and your voices in our state legislature are really important to me at this time. I also want to thank partners in local government. We've met at many roundtables. I was here not long ago convening a meeting of elected officials and faith leaders and not-for-profits and universities and colleges to talk about how we're failing to meet the demands of this community. And Mayor of White Plains, Tom Roach, and Mayor of New Rochelle, Noam Bramson, have been incredible, quiet leadership, just getting it done. But now when there's an opportunity to say to those who say it can't be done, it's too hard, just look what they've done in White Plains and New Rochelle. They've leaned hard to this. These are growth communities. These are places people want to be, and they're just getting started. So let's give a round of applause to both our mayors for what they've done here as well. My talent is finding talent. That's what I've done since I became governor about 18 months ago, and I've assembled the smartest team ever in state history. I'm putting that right out there. But the leader of our economic development team is Hope Knight, and I want to thank her for being the voice of the business community as well as our administration and bringing us together to take New York State to new place. Let's give a round of applause to Hope Knight. And the person who's making this all happen, Ruth Ann Visnaskis, not for the faint of heart. She has done roundtables where those fear to go, and she has been out there meeting with people everywhere, just talking to them about her passion for building homes that everybody can live in. It's a very simple premise, but it has not happened here in our state the way it has in others, and that puts us at a severe disadvantage when it comes to attracting other talent. So let's give a round of applause to one of the true leaders and true champions of expanding housing. I've been back here, as I mentioned many times, and we're just here, as I mentioned, at Pace Land Use Law Center. And I want to thank the president for being part of today, but also always making me feel welcome there. But so it's great to be back here. And as I mentioned about the future of Westchester, it is extraordinary to see that a community that has always been desirable, a place people want to live, a place people want to work, has even become more so in recent years. I do believe after the pandemic, people discovered the charm of our downtowns, the easy access to trains and public transportation systems that are second to none, the universities and the college and the beautiful parks and the waterfronts. I've traveled every corner of the state. I'm not allowed to play favorites, but I really love Westchester. It's an important community to me. And I'm not just here stopping in diners and visiting the downtowns, as I have many times, but also look at what's happening at places like Regeneron in the Hudson Valley. This and so many people from Westchester work there. $1.8 billion expansion in Tarrytown. I was there. I don't know how the progress is going. Who's here from Regeneron? You're moving along on the project? Okay, because that was massive. It was an exciting time to be there, and to Lionsgate Studios and the new Hollywood and the Hudson, what's going on right there is just amazing. Quantum computing, semiconductors right here, expanded from everybody from IBM to Seek, and we're really on the map now. And I'm really, really excited about this. And there's only one thing holding us back, and you'll hear from this from the people who are actually living this experience. They have great ideas. They've decided they want to be in New York. They've decided they actually want to be in Westchester. And they cannot find the talent, not because people don't want to live in Westchester, for all the reasons I said, why it's so desirable, but they can't find a place to live. That's a statement of fact. And it is frustrating. It is sometimes discouraging. And for employees who have to have an hour and a half commute to come in from another state, it's just not right. And what that demonstrates is a failure of our state to step up and do the right thing at a time when other states were building. We were just sitting there watching. I know New York is better than that. We've always been the movers and the shakers and the innovators and the progressive individuals who just move society and our communities forward. But somehow we got stuck in the mud when it comes to building housing. Yes, there's some wonderful examples, but my God, we can do so much more. And that's what I'm challenging people of our time to do, to meet this moment with conviction, with strength, with passion, but the voices of the business community behind this makes us unstoppable. I believe that to my core. So you'll be the ones that can go talk to your elected officials and say, I know you're worried about this, I know you're worried about this. I was a local elected official for 14 years. I know better than anybody all the ways that a project can be stopped. We didn't do that in my town, but I know exactly all the tools that other communities can use. Whether it's existing zoning, guess what? Zoning isn't permanent. It's not in the New York State Constitution. Communities have the power to change it. So open up your zoning. Allow for downtown housing that doesn't have to have so many parking spaces because that's a barrier. Open it up. Open it up. I know about the economic development studies, the seeker review, the transportation review, the planning board, the zoning board. I served on all of them. So when I hear from communities saying we don't want to be told what to do, I understand the sentiment because I'm saying do what you want to do, just grow. Go any place you want to go. Build transit-oriented development. The most common sense thing in the world is to build housing right where the train station is, because with what we're seeing with Mother Nature and our moral imperative to reduce greenhouse emissions and carbon emissions, the fewer cars that are on the roads, it's better for our planet, our communities, and our kids' futures. So you put housing right there where someone can get that cup of coffee, walking out the door and getting on a train and going to jobs. Maybe their job is in Westchester, maybe it's somewhere else. But we have that available to us. So we have all these opportunities. But we've not done the building. Some communities have done it, amazing jobs. You need to visit the communities that have. The models are there. But others are hesitant. Build it wherever you want. Take an abandoned strip plaza. Take an abandoned warehouse. Take some vacant land that just screams for attention. Build housing on it. I'm not saying it even has to be affordable. Multifamily, market rate. We have companies that are growing. They're attracting well-paid individuals. But that income doesn't go anywhere when there's no housing to put people in or there's not a variety of housing. I look at the lens of housing through my own family's trajectory. My parents married very young. My dad worked at the steel plant. They lived in a trailer, little trailer park. It's still there. It's still pretty run down. I always check on it during snowstorms because I'm worried about the weight of snow on the little trailers. Then they were able to, with my dad getting a college degree while he worked there, get that little apartment with 2 bedrooms above another building. That's where I was born. My brother was born in the trailer. Then they had more kids. They moved into a little Cape Cod. They had a few more kids. 6 kids. We all crammed into what we thought was the American dream house. 3 of us in the attic, myself and 2 brothers. But it was a great house. It's where our family blossomed and grew. Then we all moved away. My parents got even nicer houses. And then they were able to downsize at different points. So having the ability of housing to meet your needs of where you are in your life, that's a basic right, in my opinion. That shouldn't be unattainable. It shouldn't be something that you dream about, but I can't do that here in New York because I don't have that array of housing available to me. And we talk about who we're taking care of. Yes, it is the employees that all of you have now and those you want to hire. You're trying to lure here, and they look at the price of housing. You know why housing is high? Basic supply and demand. You build more, prices become stabilized. They actually could be lower. So it's the business community that's affected. But guess what? Everybody has a family. You raise your kids. They go to great schools here. They go to college. Someday they want to raise their families in the same neighborhood they grew up in. I was able to go back to my hometown of Buffalo after spending a decade in Washington, and I didn't have any trouble finding a house a long time ago. That was never a barrier, never thought in my mind. And now young people today, believe me, they want to have their parents near the babies so they can babysit. This is important. And I'm a grandma who just babysat. I know, but it's also keeping families connected. People have a right to have their values from their parents passed on to their kids too. It's always what we've done here. And for their grandparents who get older, who say, I don't need a house so big. I don't need this anymore. I want to live in the same community. My friends are here. My church is here. My synagogue's here. But I can't find a townhouse or an apartment. The only ones that are calling me are in Florida. Very much overrated. But this is what I'm talking about. These are real human issues. And I'm telling you, it'd be so much easier for us to just say, yeah, somebody better deal with that someday. Yeah, that'd be really good if they would fix that someday. That's not who we are. I need all of you. I need every single one of you to use your voice, the people who work for you, and I'm sure there's many, to activate, mobilize, bring support behind us, and tell people, don't be afraid. This is going to be good. It's going to be good. We're going to look back someday and say, not only do we meet the moment, we exceeded the moment. We did even better. And we caught up, and we surpassed other states because we know we have an outstanding quality of life here, second to none. You can't touch us here in New York. But so many people who want to be New Yorkers or stay New Yorkers right now cannot. That, to me, is a very human tragedy. So we want to invite a few speakers. I want you to hear from others. John Levy, Peter Herrero, and Joe Kenner, who have stories to tell about what has happened in their companies, how they're trying to expand. They have people who want to be here, and how frustrating. And believe me, I helped start a few businesses. My sister is here. She became one of the fastest growing tech company CEOs in the Eastern Seaboard. Fastest growing woman-owned business in the state of Maryland. Why'd you go to Maryland? I didn't know how. No. See, if we built the housing, my sister would have built that here. So I know business leaders, whether it's a little tiny shop like my mother's retail shop on Main Street or my sister's company where she hired over 500 people. I know you have a lot of other things on your minds, but finding people to work for you and knowing they have a place to live should not be a problem. So let's solve that. Let's solve that together. And with that, I want to introduce John Levy, the CEO and chair and co-founder of Seek, and let you talk about the challenges that you're facing, but also how we can overcome them.
As they say, tough act to follow. So thank you for inviting me here today. I'm John Levy, the CEO of Seek. Seek stands for Scalable Energy Efficient Quantum Computing. And our company is building the world's first energy efficient and entirely chip-based quantum computer. So for those of you who don't follow quantum computing, and I'm assuming that many of you don't, quantum computing is going to enable us to solve a number of the world's greatest challenges, including areas around energy, climate, pharma, chemistry, AI, and frankly, areas that we can't even imagine today. And earlier today, we announced the first fully digital chips manufactured in our facility, in our chip foundry in Elmsford, New York, of a quantum computer. This is essentially, right here, quantum computer and a chip. And this is the first time anybody's been able to do this. Later this year, we're going to be installing these chips, and we will build the world's first completely chip-based quantum computer. But milestones like these would not be possible without the support of our partners and from Governor Hochul and from ESD and the investments that they've made over the past 2 years. Through that investment and matched a lot by venture capital, we've been able to more than double our workforce. We've contributed to building a secure domestic supply chain, which is a crucial issue for our country, and essentially to continue our leadership position as a country in the global competition for quantum computing. So building on this successful partnership with ESD, we look forward to our next stage of development, which is constructing a new chip foundry, a new quantum chip foundry, to meet the needs of our customers, help us to scale quantum computing technology, and of course create even more high-value jobs. And I should say that a few years ago, the New York Times ran an article that said that there were 25,000 people in the world that could actually really build AI applications. We're hearing about that now. And there were, at that time, 800 people that could build a quantum computer. That number is now about 3,000 or 4,000. But we're getting them to come to Westchester County. And we're getting it to come to our company. They're coming to IBM. But it's important that we be able to do that because it is a very finite number of people who can do this. So we believe that a partnership with local, New York State ESD, especially through matching grants and efforts by the Green Chips Initiative as well, leveraging federal money through the CHIPS Act, and with private investment are going to enable us to expand our state-of-the-art quantum chip facility here in Westchester County. But to achieve this, and I think we heard it in our roundtable, we need to be able to attract and retain a workforce that can help us build these chips. And to do that, we need housing that's convenient to our chip foundry, that has access to public transportation, and that's affordable. And right, we pay our people well. They can afford to pay what it's going to cost you to build. So there's a great formula here for success. We believe that economic development efforts such as the Housing Compact will play a pivotal role in creating the housing infrastructure we need to support our work. So thank you, Governor Hochul, for your leadership in having the vision to link the need for housing to high-growth technology businesses. It is an essential precondition for us to be able to hire the people that we have. And we want to make sure that we continue to make New York State and Westchester County the epicenter of sustainable quantum computing innovation in our country. Thank you.
Please welcome Peter Herrero, New York Hospitality Group.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Herrero. I'm the founder and president of New York Hospitality Group. We have 5 locations with over 200 employees. Sorry, I'm getting a little old. My eyes don't adjust as they used to. I'm so excited to hear your plan, Governor, for personal reasons, for professional reasons, because I'm a New Yorker, because I live the American dream in New York. The biggest challenge our staff is having, that we're having attracting staff, is housing. The first thing that comes up, it's the cost of living in New York. Your plan makes it affordable, makes it smart, by building smart buildings that they can control the utilities, a low impact on the environment, makes the American dream in New York possible. It's our #1 concern when we've been interviewing people from Connecticut and New Jersey, chefs, top paying positions, and they say, I can't find housing, or it's not reasonable. So this goes a long way. This initiative will be felt for decades. It's the beginning of the great plan. But on a personal note, young adults who are coming out of college, have a little debt, and have worked really hard for their position, can't find housing. They need a foot in the door. And I say this for my own kids. I have 3 daughters. I have a PhD. My daughter has a PhD that she's finishing up in May in analytical chemistry. Her husband has a PhD in electrical engineering, way above my pay grade. Do you know what they said to me, and it broke my heart? She doesn't know if she can live in New York because of the housing, because of the cost. The problem is with our young adults, our kids, our grandkids, they're going to start their career someplace. That's where they started their life. They're not going to, after 5 or 10 years, and they've moved up the ladder, going to come from another state back to New York. This is where they are going to live and set up their roots. So the hard part is, yes, our grandkids will be in another state. I'm not happy about that, Governor. So I want to thank you for this more than you could ever imagine, because the people who serve our community, the cooks, the chefs, the bartenders, the waiters, the first responders, the nurses, working class people are finding it difficult. And Governor, I say this to you, today you are part of the solution and not part of the problem. I hope everybody hears that. Thank you.
Please welcome Joe Kenner, President of Grayston.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Governor. My name is Joe Kenner, and I am President and CEO of Grayston and Southwest Yonkers. We are a hybrid social enterprise dedicated to eliminating barriers to employment. And I just have to say, Governor, I just want to thank you for the proposed solution that you're providing to the housing challenges that our folks face through this housing compact. At Grayston, we eliminate barriers to employment through what we call open hiring. And what that essentially is, it's a first come, first hired form of hiring for all of our bakery apprentices positions. We also provide social services support. We have a case manager that supports all of our employees, both at the bakery as well as our nonprofit foundation. The number one issue, Governor, as we've said before, is housing. And it's broad: eviction, finding affordable housing, so many challenges that our folks face. And I just have to say, our folks, and I give another perspective here, our folks are on the lower end of the income spectrum. They may have poor credit history. They may be justice involved. And some of our employees have actually been homeless. And I can tell you that personally. I've spoken to a few of them like that. So I know firsthand the housing challenges that can affect their quality of life and to perform the job. And if we don't have stable housing, if we don't have a stable place to live, we really can't focus on much else. So at Grayston, the strength of the wraparound support that we provide to our folks, it's limited by the strength of the resources that are available. So I have to say, by making housing more accessible, more affordable, this initiative can help our team members and others meet their basic needs, focus on work and contributing to growth. As I said earlier with the governor, we want our folks to stay in New York. We want them to stay employed, and we want them to thrive. But that can't happen without affordable housing, more housing that for our folks. So I'll just say, Governor, we look forward to the day when this is no longer an issue or a talking point, that it can be solved. And again, applaud you for your efforts through this New York Housing Compact. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending. That concludes our event. Have a great day.